Trucker Rod and the S.E.E channel, and we're gonna give it a minute for this thing to kind of catch up. So how's everyone doing? Chime into the live chat, let me know where you're from, what you do, if you drive truck or if you're just regular 9 to 5, and we'll get started here in a couple minutes. So right now I am sitting at the Love's truck stop in Sadieville, Kentucky, just north of Lexington or Georgetown of the scale house there on I-75. So I used the phone. I didn't use the computer. I will more in the future as we go forward because the destination I'm taking, I won't be in a truck. Therefore, I'll just be doing it from home. So, let's see. It's been a horrendous last week and a half. This week's been much better, and doing the route has definitely telltale. Getting it done in 2.5 days compared to 5 days. Audio's still good. I'm just hanging out here, kind of watching. Never disappoints in the truck stops to kind of see from foreign drivers to newbies, just all that jazz. And your mega carriers, guys that look disgruntled, too frustrated back into a spot, racing around. Definitely not good parking lot etiquette as far as being safe, while others are walking in and out or walking around the parking lot, whether they're just walking exercise, walking their dog, walking up to the store. You really got to be on the swivel of either someone jumping out of a parking space or just coming around the corner at a high rate of speed. So, what do we got? A couple minutes? 3 minutes in? Sorry about that. Yeah, I'm going to yawn every now and then. It's been, like I said, it's been a rough last month, but definitely the last 10 days have really drained me down. I haven't had a chance to really bounce back as I'd like to be. So, give it another minute here. Get you guys turned around here, maybe kind of see what I see. The whole shit show of that's the fueling, and the guys are stacking and racking over there. They're backed up and around the corner. I would imagine if I turned the CB on last time I was here, everyone was yelling at a oversized load trying to get in here. But yeah, anyhow, just giving it a few minutes for people to jump in, chime in to the chat. Let me know where you're from, what you do. What do you do? Whether you drive truck or if you're just a 9 to 5, and we'll get things going here. But yeah, it's I walked up to the store earlier, and you got to definitely be on the swivel. At any truck stop, they never disappoint for unethical standards of driving through a parking lot. So they're really stacking up. I got here just after 4:30, and got a nice spot so I can get directly out without being pinched in here. So anyhow, As the thumbnail stated, I envisioned this. I put the plan in motion to build an exit strategy because I didn't want to be caught back in the trucking. As I was from the late 80s up to the summer of 2000, by the time the summer of 2000 had come along, I was burned out. I was frustrated, pissed off, and wanted out of the industry because I wanted to be challenged and do more with my life than just hold a steering wheel and drive down the road. Granted, yeah, it's a skilled trade, but it's a skilled trade that comes with a lot of diversity, and you have to go through a lot of challenges. Inclement weather, traffic, equipment breaking down, the ever-changing laws and policies. So there's just so many factors. In my driving career from the 80s up to now, I've seen the CDL come in, I've seen medical cards come in, I've seen random medical inspections happen. Laws have changed, computers, electronics. There was no cell phones, no computers, nothing in these trucks, not even a cup holder when I started driving truck. You had if you were lucky, you had an AM FM cassette radio, and it worked and the speakers worked, you were winning. So outside of that, I saw the evolution of the cell phone come into play in the late 90s. Satellite radio coming in. Oh, I forgot too. Besides the AM FM cassette radio, you had your CB. So those are two means of any kind of communication or any audio in the truck besides just the rumbling of the engine and the road noise of the truck rolling down the road. We used to roll a lot with the windows down because air conditioning wasn't mandated in the trucks until, I believe, and don't quote me exactly, but I believe it was around 1997 that they mandated that these commercial trucks had to have AC to cut down on driver fatigue while driving. But I didn't have AC. Was a luxury item then, and but we rolled a lot with the windows. But by the summer of 2000, I burned out and wanted out. So I went off, educated myself through college to become a doctor and what have you. Then, healthcare did not treat me well, laid me off, left me stranded with no employment, no full-time employment. I could have stayed in it with part-time employment, which was like 20 hours a week. There was no foreseen future in that. Like, I had bills that were due every other week, and 20 hours a week was not going to cut the mustard to pay your student loans, keep our shelter in place, food, and cover medical bills. Therefore, I pivoted back into this industry. But when I did, I also applied for a mechanic's job. Now, know that I've been a welder. I went into mechanic. I got my associate's degree in truck mechanic, and ended up just by default going into, or just went into trucking because, well, I could drive truck while I was interviewing for a mechanic job. So 2018 come along, and I know I didn't want to be trapped into this industry again, especially as I saw my 60s coming up, turning 60 this year. And I just said last year, by 60 I wanted out, and I laid it down. My wife kind of thought a lot of things was, like, I want my student loan paid off, the last of my student loan paid off by the time I'm 60, and I want to be out trucking. And she really said that's a tall order, and she was very skeptical of me seeing that through and fulfilling it, but it's going to be done. Now, 2018, I really wanted to start having a change of pace with where I was residing. We wanted to get out of Michigan. She had left Michigan after high school, lived in Seattle for 20 years. I had left for a couple years to live in Atlanta to do school. Only both of us to come back, take care of our families. And now that that has been dealt with, we said, my children are grown. They are on their own. They're 29 and 39. They're doing their careers. They're making more money than I am. Not married, no kids. I don't want grandkids. And I pray they don't have any because of the way this world is. But going forward, I said, hey, let's go and position ourselves to where we want to grow old at. And we found, it took us probably a year to get it dialed in. We found where we wanted to be. It took us up to 2021 to take a trip to Phoenix, Arizona, and look at real estate. We spent 8 days out there looking at real estate. Came back, and we were pretty hellbound and determined we were going to live there. Now, we had found a house, and we tried to finance it, but was not positioned. Debt to income ratio, capital to put down on it, but we knew what we needed to have. And granted, we did not want to be buying a $400,000 or $500,000 house at my age. We're not here to impress anyone. We're here to sustain and live for each other. And I'm not here to impress you or anyone in the world or entertain people at my house. This is for her and I to grow old in. So, it's a smaller house. It's half the size of the one we're currently in. And so 5 years later, she had then got us positioned where we paid off another bill that put us over the $200,000 mark of paying off debt. And in contrast to that, she also was able to save us the 20%, the 20% down for the budget we were going in at. And I said, this is all I'm going to spend. This is the top. So even when we were looking at houses, the two lenders we worked with, they were like, well, this is going to be, I said, I don't give a shit about the monthly payment. This is all I'm going to spend right here. I don't give a shit about the interest rate. I don't give a shit about the monthly payment. I want to be able to, if the interest rates come down, I want to have equity in the house as I walk into it. I don't want to pay over list. I don't want what these people did in 2021, 22, and just go out and spend stupid amount of money on a house that was not worth it. It's like saying you're going to buy a $20,000 Prius and give $50,000 for it because, well, you want it over the next person. That's what they were doing. I went in and said, this is all I'm going to spend. They were impressed with that. And I said, I don't care that I qualify for $500,000. I'm only going to spend this much. And it was a fraction of it, which did put us in a new home that's 10 years old. So we're happy about that. It's got many upgrades on the exterior, the yard, and all that jazz. So things I don't need to do, but we are going to put more fine-tuned aesthetic touches to it. But with that, this house came back up on the market. The house we looked at in 21, and when we were going through all that snow apocalypse, I saw the house. The wife double checked, said yes, that's the house, because we didn't really recognize it at first because of the new upgrades. With that, I said, the hell with it. The door was cracked open at the time. I said, let's just kick the door open, and we hit the realtor up and said, we want to move on this house. So we made an offer, went back and forth for about 5-6 weeks, and we actually, by the time it was said and done, from the asking price, we got them talked down to nearly 15% off the asking price. Down 15% off the asking price. So I'm already winning on that. I have equity with what we put down. So we're well within our budget. And I have my exit strategy to get out of trucking. Trucking, as I've been preaching for months, it is just a way to get in, come out here, run your ass off, make bank. If you're going to sacrifice the time away from home and be out on the road, then by all means, pay your shit off. Build capital, invest it. If you're doing a side hustle or flipping things, take that discretionary money, put it in a high yield savings if you need liquidity to get back at it, or invest it away. But for God's sake, these people come out here and the money gets to be good, and then they go out and they buy some ridiculous one or two car payments, a toy payment, stupid, adding more stupid shit to their house that, is totally irrelevant. And whether it's like buying a swimming pool or, whatever it may be, and they're financing everything. So now they're just living check by check, and they're having to keep the wheels spinning and turning. So keeping themselves on that hamster wheel to keep paying the debt. We went in the opposite direction. We kept one daily driver. We drove year round. We parked the other two cars. She paid off her car that we bought in 2020. And they sat a lot, and everyone was like, why don't you drive your vehicles? Because I have a plan. Silence is more deadly when you can just be quiet and just stay focused on your plan and not let other people distract or deter you from what you're trying to do. Stop following society norm. Do your own thing. So we stayed in our own ecosystem of money in, money out, and paid off a lot of debt. With that, we were able to then build that exit strategy. That was my vision. My vision was from 2018 to now was I didn't have an end date. I just kind of knew as this time last year, April, May, I said, I want to be out by the time I'm 60. She thought that was a tall order, but things didn't went in our way last September when we sold the second property on a whim because someone loved it more than us. Hey, when I own something, my truck, stuff I own, if someone likes it more than me and wants to offer money that, hey, it's gone. I'm not attached to stuff. I'm not going to drag it around in life and say I may need that one day. I can either borrow it, rent it, or if I really need it bad enough on a daily use, I'll buy it. But for the most part, I'm not attached to anything. As far as material stuff, what we're trying to seek and go into is financial freedom. So we just want to be able to live as I'm marching through my 60s. I'm going to continue to work. I am not totally positioned to be fully retired. I just wanted out of trucking. Getting out of trucking just means that I want to be able to get back my personal time. I've been sacrificing nights and weeks away from home to get us positioned where we're at. And that's what trucking does, is you can come out here and you can run like a madman, you can make a ton of money, and you can flip and go, flip your situation over and go forward. But it shouldn't be a long term. 5 to 10 years is the most you should be in this. To be in it for a lifetime, it means one thing. You don't have any other skill sets. That's why people couldn't understand how I got into trucking from healthcare, because I was already in the trucking. I was already in a welding, fabricating, mechanic, and all that. So I already had like 3 skilled trades going on. And then I put myself in the position to learn more by going into healthcare and becoming a doctor. So now I'm back into skilled trades for the last 12 years. Going on 12 years this September. But I got other trades. I can skin a cat 7 ways a Sunday and, doing something else besides trucking. I don't have all my eggs in a basket. I'm carrying at least 5 different trades that I can go and apply to. And that's what I did. So what I've been doing now that we have the house, and we do own our Arizona home. As of 2 weeks ago, we own that puppy. It's ours, bought, paid for. And the house in Michigan is for sale. We've had buyers coming through. We have over 90% of our stuff, worldly possessions, liquidated, gone, boom, gone. Um, we're having a moving sale coming up on the remaining the smaller stuff, but the big bulky stuff, she was able to move through just posting, whether in Marketplace or around social media, and we got rid of a lot. So I've had an interview at a school system out there, Gilbert Schools, and I have just finished up a interview this week for a state, or I want to say a government job as a heavy equipment mechanic. So you can be a heavy equipment mechanic. Well, absolutely, because well, in the mid to late '80s, before going full time in trucking, I was working on uh, construction equipment, deer and cat equipment, and a lot of agricultural. I worked for an Alice Chandler's dealer, working on agricultural case tractors, farm tractors, gleaner combines, Minneapolis Moleens, Big Bud. Um, so a lot of that old school stuff back then, and so I had an interview. So I have had that. I will wait and see. They're going to let us know at least probably the next phase of the interview. They're going to let us know next Monday. And so we've already had a couple cash buyers. The second one came through today. So she's very interested in it, or they are. And like I said, it's going to be a cash buyer. So this house, once it sells, is going to finish paying out our debt. Like I said, the last student loan, I paid off a lot of my student loans. I want to say 3/4 of them. So a quarter of it's left out of a 6-figure debt. And I'm going to go out there with just my mortgage paying, what remaining mortgage I have on this house. But then just my monthly living expenses, taxes, utilities, insurance, groceries, and just upkeep of maintenance on the vehicles and, the house. But just normal living stuff that it should be more manageable going forward, especially when prices are going up on everything. So, and that's the way I'm going to move forward with. I will have more time. Now, this latest job will require working Monday through Thursday, 4 10-hour days, and it will give me a chance to have more home time Friday through Sunday to allow me to invest more into my home-based businesses and get those ramped up more, especially coming home and being able to have time at home Monday through Thursday. I'm going to be able to be home. The job's going to be from like 5:30 to 5 to 3:30, 5 a.m. to 3:30 p.m. With a 30-minute break, 10-hour day. And I'm looking forward, if I get hired for that job, I will be looking forward to that, because it's the dream job I want in the place I want to be, because it's going to entail having a pension, with retirement. It also comes with lifetime health benefits. So that's going to give me leverage over and above Medicare. So it's the safety net that I'm looking for to carry me when I'm 80, 85 and older. So I plan on working till I'm 75. But in this day and time, it's really hard to walk away at 60, 65, late 60s, unless you have really got some bankroll and you are disciplined at a very young age to put a lot of money aside to give yourself a chance to retire, especially when inflationary is so critically high right now and only going to get higher. So a lot of people, and I've got neighbors that retired, lasted 1 year, realized that with the increased inflation and cost of living, they had to both go back to work. So I'm not gonna, pull the trigger on that. Like Social Security, I'll probably talk to someone maybe when I start hitting around 65. Social Security to, see wouldn't it be a good time, to do it, or just ride it out till I max it out. So, I'm not looking for Social Security or it being there for me. If it is, great. If not, whatever. Um, Medicare, I could give two shits less. Medicare just sucks. It's garbage. And, government, well, you got to take it. Well, fuck you. So I'm not a big government person. I'm definitely not a big advocate of forced health care, especially when this country has shitty health care to begin with. That said, I have been just planning my future. I look at today, when I look at doing something, I look at as I am going to be 80 or 85 years old tomorrow. I'm trying to set myself up that I am going to just, I'm going to be elderly. And what is best for me at 80, 85 years old? Will this make sense? Or am I pissing money away right now when I could be putting that aside, putting that money into some investment that will expand it and take care of me 20, 25 years down the road? That's how I'm looking at things at this point. I'm not looking at the dopamine high of, oh, look at all this extra discretionary money. Oh, look at this big paycheck. That money's either got to be paying off a debt or it's got to be put towards a need or investing. So that's that. I mean, that's been what I visioned and how I wanted to set myself up for the last 8 years. And I've been and it's a sacrifice that we all need to be doing, but are not disciplined to do. Many young folks were never taught that. They were taught to be consumers and debtors. And I grew up around many folks who were producers and savers. They made money and they saved it. They invested it. They put it in somewhere. They put it in CDs, mutual funds, annuities. Something that was going to expand and grow that money to better suit them for allocation of it in the future. And that's all I'm doing. I just want asset allocation, that is to put that money into something that's going to grow and allow me to be very positioned financially, that I will be well financially stable and not have to worry about medical expenses, food, shelter, and all that. Now the new house, what mortgage I do have on it, my goal is to have that paid in 5 to 7 years. So by the time I'm 67, I want this thing wrapped up, if not before, but that's the latest. As I march through my 70s, just want to keep just building my home base, working on that, and just expand my money. And any inheritance money will be put into investments, probably an annuity. If we get a big lump sum at some point, we're just going to put those in a annuity that's going to give us a good return. I have a friend I have to sit down with. He's putting some money from a real estate sale, and he's putting it in one, and he wants me to look at what he's putting it in because of the returns and the bonuses and all the other extras they're given. So I'd like to take a look at that. But yeah, you really need to start looking at putting money aside and not buying into the wife and I, we've taken a week off in 21 to go to Arizona. I want to say in the last 5 to 6 years, I've taken about 4 weeks off when I look back on it. And that was mainly business related stuff. Nothing was really for a vacation. It was more to either I had to work on the house and had maybe some side businesses stacked up I had to catch up on, like I did this year, or last year. I mean, last year I took a week off to knock out, like, what was it, 11 detail jobs in a week. But for the most part, am I going to do auto detailing out there? No, I'm not going to advertise for it, but I'm going to be introduced to a lot of people with very high-end cars that are ranging from anywhere from like 80,000 to six-figure cars. I'll probably continue doing that because now I'm going to get really picky at this point and say, no, I'm not going to do the soccer mom minivan and dig out gummy bears, Legos, and French fries out of the seat tracks that, and you're spending 8 hours just cleaning an interior that is just god awful, stained and wrecked and trashed. I want someone that's got, where I can go in and maybe spend 45 minutes to an hour on the interior, give it a good treatment more than scrubbing, and maybe just do a nice polish and maybe do a paint sealant or a ceramic. I'm going to be very selective. I'm not going to go out and just clean up someone's rolling landfill. So I'm not going to advertise, but I'm sure word of mouth will get around when people kind of know who I am. I'm already getting some traction out there on that, and that is a bonus. Right now I got my big black truck up for sale because I don't know if I want to take that with me. If I do, I got to change a few things. I got to change the gearing in it. I'm going to put in some heavier drive shafts while the gearing's getting done, and some other upgrades. So I'm kind of weighing out what it's going to cost for all that in lieu of just selling it and buying. I may go and offer. My dad has a nice pickup that sits in his garage, and I'm telling you, that thing is twice as nice as my truck. It is like brand spanking new, and he won't even drive it on a rainy day. So it would be a great truck, being that he's 85 and can barely drive other than short local runs. I'm thinking I'll go talk to him about that, but if not, I may hee-haw around and see about just putting money in my truck and just kind of getting it ready more for the desert and more for pavement driving. So changing out the mud terrain tires for something more roadworthy, because it's going to be my daily commuter for my new job. And that all said, I just want to, that's paid off. The wife's car is paid off. I mean, we're not planning on buying any vehicles. And if I do in the next, say, 5 to 10 years, it's going to be an older vehicle that has no computers. I just don't really need anything new. I think it's ridiculous to go out and buy anything new or even lease a vehicle. Well, I'll lease a vehicle. That way I don't have to deal with maintenance and all that. Well, you still got to take it in for oil changes, so you're still dealing with maintenance because you still got to pay for the oil change on a lease vehicle. So what's the damn difference? I just don't want to deal with all the headaches of what these cars are entailing with the IT and the unreliability with all the crap. In 2027, they're mandating the kill switch to where they're going to have AI in your vehicle. So if you're yawning, you're distracted looking, like if you're staring out the window while you're rubbernecking at maybe while you're maybe taking a trip and you're seeing something nice, mountain range or something, and you're just staring off in the distance, they're going to turn the car off because they're saying because of getting the drunkards out of drunk driving. But yeah, and well, hey, if you're late on your insurance, you're late on your car payment, yeah, they can use it in many nefarious ways of turning your car off on you. So that's in Congress, and it's going to get passed because the auto manufacturers and the insurance companies are lobbying and throwing millions of dollars at this to get it passed through. So me, I'll go back to a 70s car in a heartbeat. It's like I said, I've got about 20 to 30 years of maybe driving, and I don't need anything flashy. I can tell you that if I had to drive across country and just stay at hotels to take a trip, I'll just rent a fucking car from Enterprise and just stay at a hotel. Why would I want to pay for a car that's going to shut off on me because they don't like who I am or what I've done or anything like that? But they're going to use it and weaponize these vehicles against us. But yeah. So just beware of what the government's doing. It's not for convenience, it's for their control over us. But I really am going to enjoy this, being down to a smaller house, less house maintenance, no yard maintenance. I'm going to put money into it right up front to get everything, get this house just right where it's personalized to us, and then we can just sit back and keep it maintained and just enjoy it and not come home and have to work on that freaking place like I am in Michigan all the time. I mean, when you got 18 inches of snow on your roof, you kind of know it makes me leery because that's a lot of weight and all that, and then you got to roof rake the damn thing, and I'm just like, I'm over this whole 4 seasons. It's gonna be hot out there. I don't give a shit. I'd rather have sunny and hot than cloud cover, snow, cold, and all the other miserable weather that comes with living up in the north and the Midwest. And y'all can keep it. That's your preference. It's not mine. I'm living where I want to live, and I'm going to live my life the way I want to live it. I don't give a shit what other people think. That's the big middle finger to those folks. Everyone's like, well, it's going to be hot. Yeah, I know. Duh. It's like, I'm going to go live in Phoenix. Yes, it's fucking hot. It's just amazing how people think, well, yeah, what, it doesn't snow there? They don't get leaves? What, it's not grassy in the desert? It's like, dude, like I haven't really researched it, for the last 8 years. I know what the fuck I'm getting into. And it's just hilarious to think people think I don't know what the fuck I'm doing. Proving them wrong. So I'm not going to be trapped into this job of just being on this hamster wheel, driving. That's why I just love these trucking channels. These guys, oh, the market's doing this and this and that and that and this. It's like, well, dude, what's your backup plan if you get let go from your job, your company goes out of business, or autonomous trucks, which, Aurora is just coming in hard and hot right now. They're really pushing it. And the autonomous trucks, you're gonna see a lot of them because companies are buying them up by 500 or more at a time. And you're gonna see these self-driving semi trucks out there. I, for one, wouldn't drive for a mega carrier that's going to screw you over for pay and work. Like I said, this served its purpose to elevate us, to pay off our debts and move on. But God sakes, have other skill sets besides just one thing. If you're just mastering one craft, you are set up to fail. You need to know many things. You better know at least a half a dozen things out there to be able to pivot and do something, unless you're just one of those people like, oh, well, just like the GM workers in a day, plant closures, are laid off, they start boozing, they start beating their wives, and then they draw welfare. I've been around the factory workers on eastern Michigan, all up and down I-75. That's the MO, man. Plant closures, the guys don't take they got it back in the 70s and 80s when robotics was replacing a lot of the assembly line workers. What it ended up entailing is, hey, you can move to another plant. It entailed to drive more in your day to commute. But, a lot of these guys, that's all they knew on the assembly lines, that one craft, that one job on the assembly line, and that was their identity. And when they lost that identity, well, shit, they took to the bottle. And I'm telling you, man, between that and beating their spouses and dude, it was the MO of the day for factory workers in the auto industry. And boozing, beating women, cheating on their wives, and they'd end up just plummeting into just a cesspool of, then they're on welfare, and then their health goes bad. And I saw it over and over, all from the early to the right into the 80s. I've witnessed it in my own family, but also with friends and their parents. And I just said I wouldn't do that, and I didn't. But bless my spouse, who has supported me when I was in healthcare, that we were going to go back and allow me to go back to school. She was going to support us, and I was going to finish becoming a doctor. That was our first plan. That got the rug pull on it because of her health. All of a sudden, her body decided, hey, I want to go in this direction now. So autoimmune stuff, wheelchair, walkers, just surgery after surgery. 18 surgeries in the last 12 years. And so we kind of got caught in the medical bill. We got stacked with medical bills that were adding up close to my student loans. But we stuck to the vision. And I said, we're going to come out of this. And she was very skeptical because she didn't think there was a way to get out of that situation. But I got us out of it. It took us years. It wasn't an overnight fix. It wasn't mommy and daddy fixing it. It wasn't a government grant. It wasn't a government handout. It was just us sacrificing, not taking vacations, not buying stupid shit, and being self-sufficient and fixing it ourselves. And we got through all that. And as things kind of stabilized after COVID, then we really rocketed more, especially the last 5 years. And this truck right here, I learned how to make more money than I make, than I'm getting paid for, because, the boss, the powers to be, we made out a plan, and I said, I can show you how to make a profit with this truck. Though it's a lease truck, the lease payment won't be, because it gradually goes up year after year. That's just part of the contract. They didn't see that coming, and it kind of offset things. They said this will be the last sleeper truck they get. They're just stick with day cabs and pay the guys hotel fees, because they're just going to get bare bone day cabs because of the price of these, of these trucks. And that's fine. That's their decision. I showed them that I can make a profit if it wasn't for the lease payment going up every year. I don't know. Unless you owned your own truck and you had a way to keep them maintained out on the road, when they get back to the yard, but also on the road. And it's not in their business model to have a shop, have a mechanic, have, that kind of management going on. That's because all that is a negative aspect of trucking. All your shop, your building, your shop supplies, your mechanics, and all that is just added more expense. That is a negative onto your profits, because then the maintenance and the upkeep is all on you. Whereas we lease these trucks from Ryder, so therefore Ryder covers all the expenses on that, except for general maintenance like oil changes, tires, brakes, general wear and tear and maintenance. But as far as like when the cooling system went out, that was on them. When the DEF system puked on me, that was on them. And we'll get to this discussion. So last week I went through 3 trucks. My truck a week and a half ago came in an hour from the shop with the check engine light, then the DEF light came on. End up being the pressure sensor on the header, and I believe the doser sensor or doser thing is in on the header too. That's buried in the DEF tank. The DEF is the diesel exhaust fluid, which is all part of that stupid mandated emissions that the shitty government of ours has put in place. that pressure sensor was, wasn't functioning at full capacity. So it was ready to go. So I got it, limped it to the yard. They took it in, they worked on it, and I took the spare truck out, and I figured I'll just roll with that for a week. I got a half a day into running the spare truck, the spare day cab, and the DEF pump that pumps the fluid out of the tank went out on it. So I dove in a hotel parking lot, limped it in there, called Ryder. They sent a mechanic out and said, yeah, it was the pump. You could hear it just banging and rattling. It was the plunger on it was just wore out, and it was obnoxiously loud. If you had the door open and the engine off, you could hear that thing just going. So then they brought a truck 2 states away. So that was like 4 in the afternoon. By 1 in the morning, they showed up. The wrecker showed up with my backup truck, so I had to get up, go out, meet him, drop and hook, take the day cab, and then I took the sleeper truck. They brought me a sleeper truck. That thing was a rocket. That was a big boy Detroit, 500 plus horse, big torque. But someone turned off the speed limiter on it, so I put my foot in it, and that speedometer kept climbing. Let's just say I was well up there, and I finally realized that truck. The cruise control was set for 69, but I'll tell you what, I was definitely well past that and beyond. And so she definitely had some tall gears in her, but she'd go. Missed those days. Back in the outlaw days when I had my Ford Aeromax, that damn thing would max out. I think it was like 94, 95 miles an hour. And I'd still have big boy Peterbilts and all that just blowing by me. Those guys would run 120. That's back, like I said, outlaw days when we could run. Speed limit was 55, but we still ran illegal because we all talked to each other on the CB to see where all the bears were hiding. So if you're going to run stupid like that, you had to be chatting on the CB around the clock, or as long as you were, running a straight line of interstate. So yeah, that's why I could run stupid amount of hours and stupid amount of miles, and never care about logs, because you just threw it you just took your logbook, threw it on the bed in the back, and you just ran. And you just kind of threw on your BOL the kind of time you were there and the time you left. That was it. You arrived and left. You just figured out, by the end of the week, you just scratched in your logs. Yeah, I was here at this time, here at that time. And you kind of made sure you weren't like showing on your logs that you were running 100 miles an hour, but you had to spread it out. Yeah, there's a lot of nefarious things you could do with paper logs, and I'd love to go back to those, because I'd probably be out here for 3 days and a 5-day run. But hey, they found a way to loophole the electronic logs and reset them while the driver's going down the road. So whatever, it is what it is. There's going to be a way to cheat the system. Someone will find a way to cheat the system. I like the old way because you didn't have tracking. They couldn't see where your truck was at. Not only see where your truck was at, but also how fast your truck was going, or this or that, blah, blah, blah. And you didn't have cell phones and all this. You just went A to B. When you got to B, you called in and said, hey, I'm here, I'm unloading, what's next? And that's what you did. So the folks, they nowadays are just so dependent on these stupid electronics. I can tell you, as I grow older, the more I'm going to be pulling away from them in our house. I'm going to have to use them at my new employment, but I definitely will want to pull back a lot from the house as far as having it. So no Alexa, none of this. I think we're going to have, we're bringing one TV that my wife has that has a Roku stick that is old school. So I don't have to worry about the government hacking into that, because there's no cameras or any bullshit on there for them to spy in on. But yeah, if I can get a hold of a few old TVs, I'm gonna put one out. We're gonna I'm already designing out my gazebo to put pony walls up on two sides with a bar on one side, a bar table along the wall with a couple bar stools, and then pull down screen shades on two of the walls. So I'm kind of like, yeah, I can do better. So as I looked at it, the more I stared at it, the more I'm like, I could do this, this, and this. So yeah, we're gonna design it and do things the way we want it. So we can just sit out there all day, or we can get on the golf cart, ride around, or we can go to the golf course in the resort and hit some golf balls and have toddies while we're doing it. I don't give a shit. It's like at this point, I'm doing me. I don't care about what other people want to do, because they're like, well, I wouldn't live there. Good. Don't fucking live there. I don't want you living there. I want me living there. I want you to stay put where the fuck you're at. I don't want you tagging along with me. So, that's what I tell people, and they're just like, well, you're kind of rude. And I'm like, I don't give a shit, dude. You do you, and I do me. That's what makes us all different and unique. I'm not going to follow what everyone else does. So, but yeah, I'm going into working for the government to get the pension and the lifetime benefits, and I don't care if I'm a heavy equipment mechanic, and if they feel they have someone better qualified than me, and I don't get it, I'll keep applying, even if it's a janitorial. I don't care if I'm a custodial working at the courthouse, mopping floors and cleaning toilets. I don't give a shit. It's 40 hours a week. Go home and do me. And I'm not going to be out here on the roads. I don't care about the autonomous trucks. I don't give a shit about the laws and the policies and the freight rates and oh my goodness, this company and that company and this foreign driver and that illegal immigrant. And it's like, yeah, that's why anymore I just don't talk about that stuff, because I don't give a shit. I don't converse with these folks out here, whether it's the young kids or the illegals. I don't give them time of day. I'm like, get experience, figure your shit out. Come back to me when you've done something great, other than hold the steering wheel, put your flip-flop foot up on the dash, and playing with your phone going down the road. You haven't done shit other than haul a dry van or maybe a reefer. Let me know when you're tarping out in 20 below zero. Let me know when you're working outside and you find out that your flip-flops and your little white beater shirts or your Suburban Turban is not going to keep you warm enough, and you got to really work all winter in that shit. So yeah, like I said, it's done me justice, but it's time to pivot and get out. I knew this last year. This year was the year I said we've got to go. And sure enough, we're there. We're committed, because I own the house, so I'm committed. We're going out there, and gonna enjoy it. I'm gonna make the best of it. Home is where you lay your head. It's what you call home. We're calling that home. It's our forever home. We're putting a ton of money in it, and I mean ton of money. I'm pulling all the appliances out. And because we don't like the looks of them, we're going to put in our taste of appliances, all brand new, washer and dryer. Just going to get everything done right out of the gate, and then just sit back on cruise control for the next 20 years and do whatever the hell we want and enjoy it. So that's, I'm not going to complicate it, and I'm going to go off that acronym of keep it simple, stupid, KISS. Keep it simple, stupid. Don't overcomplicate life by going out thinking you got to have this, that, and that, and this, and all the fancy whiz bangs and doodads and bells and whistles in life. I just want to lead. The three things my wife and I have said is when we get out there, it's God, physical, and mental health. Got to have some spiritual direction. And you got to take care of your physical and mental health, because without it, you're dependent on the system, or someone's got to take care of us. And I would just prefer that we just stay independent, take care of each other, and I've invested heavily. I took a good chunk of retirement out to make sure the wife was getting educated with this naturopathic doctor or functional medicine doctor that has helped get her off many of her medications and allowed her to be well educated with videos and coaching, and it's just a lifetime of it. And I'm proud that we went that direction, because what she eats, I eat, and it's off the processed foods. It's understanding what we should be eating and hydrating with, and just not following the norm. So Sprouts out there is one of the health stores. I don't know if Whole Foods is a thing out there, but Sprouts is, and that's going to be one of our main shopping. And I'm sure she's going to probably, I'd like to have at least 3 good stores to shop from that are all natural, organic, health food stores. So that's the direction we're going in. And what have I missed in this discussion? Yeah, I went through 3 trucks last week. Oh, this truck came back, so it was done Friday. I was power washing my house. The wife comes out. The boss said Friday, hey, your truck's done. I'm going to go pick it up. Cool. I'm home. I'm power washer in hand, working with chemicals. She comes out holding the phone. She goes, sweet baby Jesus, you're going to want to hear this. Boss man drove this truck last Friday 2 miles from the rider shop to our yard, pulled in the yard, and dumped all the coolant right there in the parking lot. So they hurried up and backed it in a parking space. Let me know what happened. He got a hold of Ryder, and I want to say he went full nuclear on him. And needless to say, they got it record down there. They that night, it was worked on Saturday, and Saturday afternoon I got a message. He and I both got messages that said your truck is done and back in the yard. So the wife and I went Saturday evening, and the truck was in the yard. I ran it, looked good, everything looked good. So we repacked the truck, because I had emptied everything out of here that I needed until I got this back. So we got it packed, and I've been out this week. It's been running good. They had to bump a little coolant in Virginia at a rider shop. Probably burped some, coolant, and it was a little down. So they topped it off. If the weather's nice tomorrow, I'm going to check it out, but I'm going to stop and give the old girl a bath, because it's just all the mechanic. They had to pull the skirting off, so all the skirting's got black marks all over it, plus all the DEF fuel and other shit that they've had to drain out. But yeah, give her a bath, head in. I told the boss man I have some hours left if he needs me on Friday. Otherwise, the only thing I got left at home is I got to finish power washing the house, stain the doors on my shed, and that's it. We're having a move-in sale, and I think we're going to just finish up cleaning more of the inside of the house. We're just hoping that maybe this new buyer came through. We had a new buyer, or a prospect of a person that is a cash buyer, came through and did a walkthrough on the house today. They love it. So the realtor's going to follow up in a couple days and see where they're at and how they feel. They want to crunch numbers and see. But it is what they're looking for. And hopefully it'll fit the bill and they'll buy it from us. So one of 2 things are going to happen. The house sells, we're gone. If I get offered a job next week, we're gone. Or next week we hear the house is sold and I have a job offer, we're gone. So the kicker is, if I get a job offer and we're gone, we got to hurry up, get everything in a pod, get that shipped out, and what's remaining, we're going to have to aggressively get rid of and or throw away or give the goodwill at that point. So I'll try to put a link down to my wife's Facebook. If you guys want to know what's up for sale, she can direct you. Um, but most of it's on Marketplace. But we got a variety of stuff, and I can't even name it all. But anyhow, yeah, I got a Milwaukee skill saw. It's old school, brand new. I got a complete brand spanking new, never used router, bits, and router table that's sitting old school, that is. And it's even, the bits are in a wooden Craftsman box, and that's felt line. Got a metal cutoff saw, got a bunch of other stuff, but just stuff I'm never going to use. And I just don't want to be in a position. Now, you may ask, won't you need any of those tools? No, I'm not going to have a garage that's going to entail a build project. I don't want no more build projects. It's a having a build project or owning, and the other thing is owning a boat. Even though Lake Havasu is not too far from us, I love a good boat. I've owned a couple Bajas and performance boats, and I had a blast with them. But I will tell you, owning a boat like that, you might as well take your cash over the campfire and just shell it right in there, man, because that's where your money goes. It is like owning a drag racing car, a drag car. It will burn through your money and leave you broke. It'll give you a good dopamine high, but man, when you come off that dopamine high, you're gonna feel that financial hangover. And with that, I just said, nope, I don't want no more build projects. Like my friend Ron out there, he went out and bought his dream car. He found a low mile 2010 Shelby GT500 supercharged, and that's been his dream car, and he drives it daily. He goes, fuck it, I'm 70 years old. He goes, I'm driving that bitch until I run the wheels off it. He goes, I want to enjoy that. To me, I would enjoy like an old 78, 79 K5 Blazer, or standard cab 78, 79, Chevy Ford pickup that I could drive daily. Everyone's like, oh, the gas mileage. I don't care about the gas mileage. I just don't have to deal with computers, and I get to enjoy my childhood, fun vehicle. My daughter asked me, if I have the money and you have a dream car, she goes, what's your dream car again? I said, 71 Hemi Cuda. But I said, you'll never be able to afford it unless you got stupid fuck you money from the lottery. But I said, good luck finding one that is going to meet my expectations. I don't want it coming in pails and buckets in a basket case. So, but yeah, so we're going to go out, we're going to enjoy our life. We're going to vlog. At some point when the time comes for us to move, I'm giving a 30-day notice to coming off Facebook, and I'm going to delete my Facebook. I want to narrow down all this bullshit social media platforms. I've already gotten rid of X and Instagram. Facebook will be the other. I'm just going to stick with YouTube and Rumble and vlog. That's it. That's all. I just want to keep it simple. As we work on home-based business and move forward, we're going to be on here talking about real estate, liens. We're going to talk about stock trades and swing trading. We're going to be out. Eventually we'll probably get a side-by-side. We're going to be out in the desert. We'll stop. We'll chat. We'll show you guys what we're up to, what we're doing. Maybe we'll take you out on a golf course. Basically won't be taking you to work as I do here, but we are going to take you and travel along and just enjoy our adventures, what we're doing to sustain and make a living, and how life goes on when you pivot out of trucking and move into another field. And that's what people need to see and realize, that this isn't the end all be all. You have to have many other crafts besides just one. So that's the setup and failure when you do that. And the people get complacent like that, and then they get lazy and they won't apply themselves to go into and learn something else new besides what they already do. That's just laziness. And if you fail in the industry leaves you high and dry or laid off or out of work, you know, all I can say is I told you so, and you set yourself up. You deserve that. So always have many skills, many baskets of way to make income stream, because things happen, things change. Look at what we've gone through in the last 6 years, let alone what I've seen in the last 26 years with internet, computers, working at home on a computer, through the internet and all that jazz. That wasn't heard of in the 80s and 90s then. So, anyhow, folks, I'm going to cut loose. I got to get up at 2 in the morning because my restart's at 3 a.m. And not sure what time it is right now. I want to say it's around 7:35. So, get something to eat, talk to the wife quick, get in bed, get up, get going, because I want to get around Cincinnati and Dayton before all the dum-dums get out there and fuck up the roadways, and have a clear shot home. So, we will talk to y'all. I've been trying to vlog from home, but understand when I get out of the truck, get home, I am buried with work trying to get that house ready for viewing of new buyers come in and view it. So like just landscape, power washing. It's like I'm going, man, sun up, sun down, and it's been rough here because I'm leaving on Mondays because I'm trying to get those 3 days at home to get work done around the house, because it's the house we're trying to sell was the work. The new house buying was the easy one. So I'm actually having a contractor do all my work there, because I am not going to put my hands on that one. I'm putting it into people that have the skills, because I'm just too damn tired to go out and start all over again, putting that house up, put my personal touches on it for us. I'm going to let those guys come in and do it. So I got them lined up. They're coming in this week. I just talked to them yesterday or day before. Today's Wednesday. Yesterday. So we're all good to go. And I don't know. The final thought I can send to you is this: make more, require less. Which means just make more money, but require less of it. So don't, because you make more, don't mean you got to spend more. If anything, cut more out of your life. Save, invest, and look to get yourself out of maybe a poor job situation if you're in one. And if you're in a good job situation, then become more of a valuable asset by learning more on what you're doing to move yourself up and make more money. That's what I did here, and I'm satisfied with what I did. I'm going to flat out say, if you stayed here this long, I made $110,000 as a company driver. And this is a company with 5 trucks. I made that last year. And that's my W-2, that's my my bonuses and my stipends. And I'll tell you that you got to know how to do it. And that's working 60-hour weeks. And you got to know how to work it. You got to know how to position and use the system in your favor. Use the truck, the tools, and everything. And the other ones I know that make that kind of money is the Walmart drivers make better money. And I talked to a guy that worked for Gordon Foods. He made $139,000 last year. When I was staying in hotels last week, he and I crossed paths and talked on the elevator, and but he's working 6 days a week. He's going hard on 6 days on 70-hour clock. I'm on a 60. But if I can get my restart in, I usually can come back out at the end of the week and pop some more time in. But I'm telling you guys, it's there's a way to make money, but it's the sacrifice of being away from home, being away from your family, loved ones, missing your kids' achievements to be out here to provide for them. So my time has come. My time is the clock will be starting here soon, and when the clock starts, that will be when the house sells, the job is either offered or both, and that's when the clock starts, and then I'll let you all know. And then I'll let you know when my last ride's going to be, that last final week. And I'll see if my wife would like to come along, and I'm sure the boss lady would let her just ride along for 1 week out here. So we'll see. She said she'd see, so take that with a grain of salt. Maybe have her out here for. She's never been able to ride with me with her medical conditions, so we'll see. Stay safe. Continue educating yourself, because when you continue educating yourself, you get another job skill. You learn more. You advance yourself more. Get another skill set. We'll see you in the next video.